Hello and welcome to the old garage number 53. I'm Wild Bill, and you probably already noticed the thumbnail picture and the title page were a little different. Well, there's a reason for that. This video is going live on August 6th, 2024, and it just so happens that it was on February 6th of 2021 that the very first episode of Vintage Car History went live. That's episode 1 on Nicholas Cugnot. Why is that significant? Well, that was 42 months ago. That was 3.5 years ago. And I just got to thinking about it, because if you look at the Bible, and I do, there are mentions of 42 months. It's found in Revelation, but it's not the only place it can be found. You have, because as a principle and what it actually, I mean, I'm not going to get into numerology or anything like that, because that's beyond the scope of this channel, but it actually means times time and half a time, which is, 7 years is considered, completing something, and if you're at times time and half a time, that means you're in the middle of it. And that's as simple as I can do it. You can find it in Daniel, Ezekiel, Revelation, everywhere. But that's where I was going with this, is because you know what? I'm at that point. It's been times time and half a time for Vintage Car History. I started this channel 3.5 years ago. Every Saturday, a new video, new video, new video. And when I started this channel, I figured it would take me about 7 years to get through it and to do all the stuff that I wanted to do. It's now been 3.5 years. Some of you have actually been listening to me just drabble on for 3.5 years. And I'm not at the halfway point. I mean, I haven't even started the cars of World War I. And yes, there were, there were cars of war being built then. I haven't even gotten anything after World War I. I got so much work. Okay, you're going to have to put up with me for longer than times and half a time and that. But it has been 3.5 years of this channel. So thanks for sticking with me. Let's see if the next 3.5 years will be cool. All right, so we got questions, so let's get on with them. You know the routine. I got silliness and everything else. Let's start off with the first one came from the episode on Moto-Meter. And this was from James MacArthur. And he asked, did you and David Harper from Antiques Road Trip talk about Moto-Meters and their collectability today? It's amazing at how much these items can sell for today. I imagine they were quite cheap back in the vintage car era. Yeah, Moto-Meters, they were cheap back then. Yeah, we did talk about it. Hopefully I'll remember to put a link because in the description, because it wasn't on my channel. He interviewed me and I talked about him on his channel. But, oh yeah, they're collectible. And Moto-Meters, there's really two kinds of people, generally speaking, that collect them. You've got folks that have a car that, has thermal siphon, cooling and can use them, or more than one car. And there are a lot of these people that, like to accessorize like women do with their, clothing. There are certain things you wear at certain seasons, times of year, for certain occasions, with your shoes and earrings and everything else. And so they're going to have a Moto-Meter for every occasion. All right, they're going to have your winter Moto-Meter, your summer Moto-Meter, you're going to the local club Moto-Meter, you're going to the prom Moto-Meter, you're going to the Elks Lodge Moto-Meter, or whatever. They're going to have a Moto-Meter for every occasion, okay? They're going to have them, and I know people like that. Yes, I'm talking to you, Mike, okay, that have, they got a couple of Model Ts, they got a Model A, they got a couple other cars, and they just have a half a dozen or more Moto-Meters for every occasion for their cars. So that's that one. And then you have just folks that collect them for the Moto-Meter's sake. And there's a lot of those too. This was, really the first major, car accessory that was incredibly accessible. I mean, from Moto-Meter, you could pretty much have the thing say whatever you wanted it to. and you could have molded to it, die cast to it, whatever, all kinds of stuff to them, and just the variety. And there are collectors that will collect them just for that sake, even if they don't have a car that would use them. And there's replicas out today, of course, but as far as how much they're worth, yeah, if you want to just collect them for the sake of collecting them, you can go online. You can find original 100 years old and older Moto-Meters, for in the $100 range. Okay, they're out there. But what you really want to do is you want to go to the garage sales, the swap meets, the junk shops. Go there. I remember seeing, and it wasn't all that long ago. It couldn't have been more than 8 years ago or so. Guy, at a garage sale, a box, literally a box this big, a box of Moto-Meters, $10 for the box. There had to have been 2 dozen of them in there, and of all kinds, So, they are very collectible, and Moto-Meters, they're cool. Get into them. If you can't get a car, get part of it, and when you get enough money, pick a car and build it based off your Moto-Meter. Do it. All right, now next question came from the episode on Adler, also James Carson, and he says at time mark 342, you talk about 2-seater and 4-seater in a V form. What is this? I presume it's some sort of seating arrangement. Yeah, I did talk about that in the episode on the special on body styles. Via V and do-si-do, and I'm not talking about square dancing, whether it's face-to-face or back-to-back, and via V is face-to-face. This was not a body style that lasted long. It didn't, but it was out there, and so, that's what I was talking about. So, yeah, that's specifically, but more info in that video, check it out. I hope I remember to do the link. Okay. Now, from the Hansa episode, we have this. It's another question for you. What were the fastest production cars of the vintage era? I remember the electric torpedo car from a long time ago hitting 100 miles and 100 kph, but just how fast were some of these cars able to go? Well, again, we're talking production cars. The car you're talking about, I believe, would be the one by Camille Janotze. That would be the Never Content. That was an electric car, looked like something from Jules Verne. But that was not a production car. That was an artisan car. Production cars, when you're looking, 100 years ago, well, where are you buying your car? Okay, where are you going to be driving it? Because speed and how fast they can go is great if it can go really, really fast. But what good is it if you have no place to drive it that fast? And it's weird. If you look at even cars today, if you go, where can you buy, at least in the United States or in England or Europe or wherever, that brand new can't do at least 80 miles an hour? You won't find one. They all can at least do that. Well, maybe not a Tata, but I didn't say India. But nonetheless, it's still, you can drive cars that fast nowadays. So you go back 100 years ago, how fast a car could go as a production car, where you can use it on roads. Well, you have to have a road that you can use it on, that you can drive it that fast. If you don't have one, well, what's the point? Most production cars pre-World War I, 40 miles an hour was fast enough. If you wanted to get something faster, you absolutely could. Okay, make no mistake. If you wanted to be able to drive 60, 70, 80 miles an hour right from the showroom floor, in 1914, you could do it if you had the money. There were definitely cars that could do that. But typically, you're right around 40 miles an hour, because there's, even in Europe, where they actually had roads, still, they weren't roads designed for high speed. So, about 40 miles an hour was right. So, that's your speed. Okay. And also from the Hansa episode, another question. It says, regarding orphan cars, it says, so where do these orphan cars owners get their spare parts? I would assume there would not be a ready supply of them available. Yeah, do they have to make their own? Well, sometimes, yeah. When it comes to, 100 years older orphan cars, you're going to be doing fabrication. Thankfully, a lot of the cars from that time were assembled cars, meaning that there was a lot of interchange between major mechanical components, such as engines, transmissions, other axles, other portions of the car that are high wear that can be interchanged. Not always the case, but sometimes it is. Yet, with that said, that's an advantage we have. I mean, I was involved in doing a lot of cars, back in the 1990s. And I mean, if you needed a water pump for a 1910 Model 66 Pierce Arrow, I mean, good luck, okay? The way you find it is through the clubs. That was it. I mean, you didn't have the internet, okay? Which is why the car clubs, were so important, and why I've talked about them a lot, is because that when it comes to, not only finding a classic car, if there's one particular that you're looking for, but also maintaining it, it's the people that are the enthusiasts, because they are going to squirrel away all kinds of different parts and little tidbits and little bits and things and pieces of literature and stuff that nobody else would save, but they will save it. So plug into those folks. That's the main way that it was done. And of course, you have nowadays, you can just have 3D printing done. You can have there's different technologies that are available that weren't available 20, 30 years ago to the hobby. So there's a lot you can do. But at the same time, there's always just the good old-fashioned using a hand. Okay, you can't stop that technology. Right? When you want to try to make a fender that's just right, I mean, I'm not going to try to CNC the thing. I'm not going to try to scan the thing. I'm going to grab a hammer. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to go bam, bam, bam. All right, and let's just get it right. There's that, visceral part, just fixing up an old car like that and bringing it back to life. That is irresistible for a lot of folks, including me. So, yeah, good question. That's where you go. Okay, so those were the questions that I had. So I'm going to go into silliness, and since I started this thing, regarding, revelation, and that's involved signs. So I'm going to go back to signs, and I'm going to talk about 5 of them today. I've talked about silly signs, but, this is now Northeast Ohio. These are signs that you can see just being out and about on a road, just in Ohio. Just 5 more that I just went, come on. All right, so here we go. Number 5 is hill blocks view. Now, I know I'm not a native of Ohio. I was born and raised in Southern California. They have things like the Crystal Cathedral, hills aren't made of solid things. They're completely transparent. We can see through them there. But in Ohio here, apparently hills are not transparent. You have to be told this fact, that you can't see over a hill. You have to get on top of a hill to be able to see what's inside of the hill. The hill is going to block your view. Really? Are we that dumb? Come on. All right, thanks. Okay. Here's my next one. This is the missing person. And now, I couldn't find the picture. I see it all the time in Ohio, where it says missing person and gives, I think I showed an Amber Alert or whatever it is on the screen. But here's what I see. Missing person, white Honda, license number 11, license, whatever it is. Missing person is this car. That's not a missing person. That's a missing car. A missing person is white female, brown hair, green eyes, 19 years old, wearing this last seen. That's a missing person. Stop saying that a missing person is a missing car and a missing car is a missing person. Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. End rant. Okay. Now, this is one that I saw in a town, city, town. It's a city, Kent. And Kent, Ohio is a university town. And so that's why that, you have to be notified of cell phone zombies. Yeah, smartphone zombies. Yeah, you have to have. I mean, when you get this close to a university, you actually have to have the sign because they really are. These people are so engrossed in whatever it is that is on their phone that the rest of the planet is irrelevant. All right, even if they're walking through an intersection against a red light, they don't care. They're playing Candy Crush. They can't stop, or whatever it is they're doing. I don't know. But yeah, there really are smartphone zombies. I've seen them. I haven't hit one. I've tried, but not really. But no, yeah, that's no joke. Okay. Now this one I didn't see in Ohio. I saw it in Pittsburgh, and you can obviously buy this off the shelf, or from somewhere online. But I saw it. It's at at somebody's driveway, and it's the notice about noticing that the notice is not noteworthy, and to not notice the notice. I mean, do not notice the fact that you have noticed this notice. It's not don't notice this. Do not notice this notice. Don't notice it. Did you notice it? I didn't see nothing. I didn't see nothing. Okay, I didn't notice. I just thought it was funny. So, okay, now this last one I'm going to do real quick. This is a chain of pizza stores, Italian places. They take out delivery, eating whatever. Santino's. They're out here in Northeast Ohio. And of course, they want to hire some new people, and so they put out a sign to hire new people. And this is the sign they put out, that they are non-stupid people. That is who they are hiring. Non-stupid people. Now, I will tell you, my heart goes out to their hiring manager, because the fact of the matter is that stupid people will never admit that they're stupid. And if you tell them they're stupid, they will deny it. Okay, in or out of an interview. So you got your work cut out of you, because you are going to go through a lot more stupid people before you hire someone that's non-stupid. But nonetheless, I mean, hey, at least you're honest. I mean, if you are going to get hired by your company, that means you're not stupid. Okay, so therefore, I guess that's why you get your pizza there. Okay, but I just thought that was funny. All right. So that's the silliness. I do have a shout out. This is a cool one. All right, check this one out. This is, do you like history? Come on. Yeah, otherwise you wouldn't be here. This is a cool one. This is Tis Hot Mess History. Now, this gal, what she does, this is unique. I mean, like I'm unique. I mean, I do, really early car history all over the world. Well, what she does is the scandals that hit the press and the gossip columns from the 1870s to the early 1940s, okay? And, what was hot in the press 100 and some years ago. That's what she does. And it's a cool channel, all right? I mean, if it wasn't a cool channel, I wouldn't be telling you about it. So go check it out, all right? Like and subscribe. Link in the description. I'll remember to do that one. Don't worry. So that's what we have as a revelation for YOG 53, and I will see you next time. Peace.